Hey guys, this is Kevin with Grayline Overland, coming at you this time from Otay Truck Trail. Otay Truck Trail is a fairly easy trail. You can get into some certain areas that get a little bit more difficult, but for the most part, it's a pretty easy trail, but a lot of really good scenic views. It really has some spectacular views, especially around sunset and sunrise. And you get out there and you get above the clouds and everything, and it's just magnificent. I mean, there are some challenging sections. So there are some sections, like especially if you take some of the off trails, that are going to be a little bit more challenging and kind of might be a little sketchy and spooky a little bit if you're scared of heights or anything like that. But for the most part, it's all stock capable. And anything that you don't want to hit, you can always take an alternate line that's just a little bit easier. Here we're looking at a section where the Bureau of Land Management, the Border Security, Border Patrol, there we go, I'll get it out. They tried to tell us that it was illegal to go down there. And come to find out, it is not illegal to go down there, that they were probably just running exercises when we were down there the last time, and that is probably why they told us it was illegal, but it is actually not illegal. So we will probably go down there again next time, and we'll have that footage for y'all. But altogether, this trail was really fun. Like I said, I would definitely say it's stock capable at any point, really. But like I said, if you get a little spooked, you can always take a different line. And I would definitely recommend coming out here, though. Yes, I just wanted to mention that Otay Truck Trail is actually just a really short drive out from San Diego. It's from our house. I think it's like 30 minutes. So it's a real quick and easy trip if you decide to go out there, because from San Diego, you're just a little ways away. Otay Ranch is not very far. So it's a good quick getaway. Okay, so now we're going to talk about my winch a little bit. I've got the, excuse me, I've got the Smeadybilt X20. It's a 10,000 pound winch. It does have a wireless remote, and in order to activate that, all we do is hit that button right there, and now you see the green light there is lit up, and you press out. It has a little delay, but there it goes, okay? And then to pull it back in, you just, right there. And now we're tied again, okay? It also has free spool right here so that you can pull it out freely by pulling the clutch. So you lift this up. Oh, sorry. You would lift this up and twist, and it would free spool, okay? And so what I was saying is, if you want to free spool, whenever it's up here, you just kind of let it out a little bit, and then you can pick this up and turn it, and it will actually give you the ability to run it out the full length if you need to, or however far you need to. Then you can re-engage it. One thing to note, whenever you're actually starting to pull, you want to have somebody here kind of holding this to keep tension on it so it doesn't spool loosely. If it spools loosely, it can bird cage whenever you go to really pull on it, okay? So bird caging can, it just ruins everything. It ruins your day big time. You have to pull the whole thing out, get it untangled, and then re-spool it up again. Okay, so to avoid that, you always want to make sure you've got good tension on it whenever you start to pull, okay? And then from that point on, you're good once you get tension on it. But always make sure you give a little tension whenever you're starting to pull, okay?
Yeah. All right. So with the setup here, right now we just have a single line pull up to the back of my Jeep. So on Kevin's winch here, we've got the closed fair lead. Sometimes you'll see rollers up here. There's really no difference between them. You just want to make sure that if you are going to change to a fair lead or replace your line and you're changing lines, you want to make sure that this is a smooth product, even with rollers, because steel cables will gouge this stuff, and then if you put a synthetic line on it, then you would be cutting into your synthetic line. So if you're ever replacing your cable, make sure you put a new hawse or fair lead on it, and rollers or the fair lead, you'll be perfectly fine with it. Up here we have a little bit of a weight. It does two things for us. One, you can see this much better than you can see the cable itself, so people know to stay clear of this, but it also provides a little weight to the line. If the line were to break and part, they can go flying and they can hurt people. They can break equipment, break windshields, all that sort of stuff. So having something on it, this has a little bit of weight to it. It weighs a couple of pounds, but it's supposed to help reduce and prevent it from snapping back and hurting somebody. And then up front on the Jeep here, you can see I mentioned earlier I have the shackle attached to my recovery point here. And my Jeep, for the most part, stays with these shackles on it. And then we have the soft shackle connected here to this closed system. And there's an advantage here in the closed system, it won't slip out. The problem with this particular one is that you can't run it directly to the steel shackle. So this is where that soft shackle comes in and allows you to use a closed eye with this whole setup. And so this will be just a straight pull. What you can do, as we mentioned previously, is if you were to substitute the pulley in here, run the rope through it, and then run this back to his Jeep, then you would be, in a sense, reducing the weight of the Jeep or doubling the power of the winch. And that's this basic setup here.
So just a little note, this setup right here, you can have one of these this brand Smittybilt for about, I think it's like $50. This is actually a fairly cheap option whenever you're considering things like this. Now you can use your standard hook, but there again, using these soft shackles is always really good. And if you don't have a soft shackle, you could put a hook to this too, but it's really kind of defeating the purpose if you do put a metal hook through that to catch it and attach to something else. So the best thing to have is a soft shackle, but you know, this is $50, $50 to $60 in comparison to some of the more costly options, which we'll see in a minute, that can run up to what, $150 or better dollars, so, or $250 depending on what you get. So this is just a nice, inexpensive way to do it.
All right, so just the front of my Jeep, a couple options real quick that we're talking about. So I turned mine to free spool real quick, so I can pull, as Kevin was talking about, just pull the cable out. And then when you're ready to take it back in, you'll throw it back into the lock position, and then that will allow you to winch yourself back in. All right, and then what I wanted to show here is the hook that I have and then the hook that it came with. So this winch came with this traditional style hook. I didn't particularly like it, and so I got a factor 55. And the thing I like about this one is it gives you a couple of options. You can use the closed system here with this loop here, or you can use this in a traditional hook sort of way. And they also provide a pin to allow you to lock the hook, providing a little additional strength to it. And so now it's a little stronger than if it was just the hook. They provide the grip so that when you hook up instead of hooking down. And then I added the rope guard, and that's my setup. It's pretty similar. Just went with a different option on the hook itself.
And that hook is really nice. This is what we used when we were trying to recover me, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and once I used mine and then I saw this, I was like, yeah, I've got to have that. It's a little, it's kind of expensive. What is this? What did this run?
I think it's $250 for
$250. Yeah, $250 for this, but
that doesn't include this.
That doesn't include the rope guard, but I will eventually have one because I really like it. But right now, it's I'm perfectly happy with my. It doesn't stick out like mine does. See how it just kind of goes flush like that? That's just really nice. That other one sticks out like a little nipple.
So as we left the spot, as you can see, we are going back down the summit and trying to exit the trail. It's in the afternoon, I would say, getting close to sunset, so we definitely get some beautiful scenes here in a few that you'll see coming up. Nothing can beat it. So I know that some articles online suggest not coming here while after dark or whatever, but you'll miss this sunset and you'll miss like the lights in the distance in Mexico or a lot of these views if you don't do it at dusk. So I would suggest either do it at sunrise or sunset, or just go camping and see both. We definitely are gonna plan to come back here because we'll eventually have a trailer and we'll come camping, so we'll experience that sunrise and sunset I was talking about at the same time. So we'll definitely be bringing a friend out here. I promised him we would come out here with him in his stock Jeep, so you'll definitely see this trail again.
Hey guys, this is Kevin with Grayline Overland, and I'm here with Mike again. We had actually, funny thing is, we actually had already done this video on the trail, and the audio footage didn't get, it didn't come through because we were trying a new mic setup, and it, we probably should have tested it before we actually did it, So we are coming at you from the driveway instead of the trail because of that. So just keep that in mind. We actually originally did this on the trail. It would have been much better if that video had come through, but we're making do with what we got. So we're just going to reshoot this part of the video, and we got it so we can give you all the information that you need about the recovery gear. So with that being said, this is Mike. Everybody knows Mike. He's been on the channel a bunch of times, and he is going to kind of give us a layout of what we've got here as far as recovery gear and how to use some of it. Okay? Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Hey, everyone. So as Kevin was saying, we've got our recovery gear here, and this is just a small part of a kit that you may want to look at and put together. Obviously, you want to do some of your own research and see what fits your needs. I don't have everything here that is made, or every type of product that is made. For example, I was talking with someone today online about kinetic ropes, and I don't have, all of my equipment here is static, meaning it's just a steady pull and not used to recover someone from mud, for example. I used to carry around a 3-inch mooring line from a ship, and that is more kinetic, allows for a dynamic type of system where if you're stuck in the mud, you back your Jeep up close but on good solid ground, and you get kind of a running start, and the rope will start to stretch and then snatch them right up out of the mud. I used to do that all the time out in Virginia when I lived there, and it worked great. I didn't break anything, didn't destroy any of the Jeep or any axles or things like that, but you wouldn't want to do that with any of these pieces of gear that we have in front of you. So make sure you're looking for the right product for the problem that you have or the problem you anticipate having when you're on the trail. All of this we've used so far with the exception of this purple one, and I'll explain that in a second. But all of this was used on John Bull up in Big Bear when one of the rigs that was with us broke its front drive shaft, and we needed to recover it and then tow it through parts of the trail because he was only in 2-wheel drive, and all of it worked beautifully.
And we also had to use that whenever I was recovering myself from doing a high center as well, so just making a stupid mistake.
So we'll start with the tow strap. This is your traditional tow strap. You're just going to tow one vehicle. If you could tow anywhere, it could be on pavement, it could be on the trail. We use this particular strap to tow that broken down rig up through some of the rocky sections. Not the hardest of the sections, but just getting them through the trail, providing that little extra bit of pull when 2-wheel drive wouldn't work. So this one happens to be 30 feet. It's about 2 3/4, 2 3/8. I can't remember the exact width of it, but I have 2 of these. So you could get out 60 feet if you needed, but we only used the 30 foot, and that was plenty of length. But again, this is kind of static, so you want to just keep a steady tension on it. You don't want to use it as a spring. And it worked great from the Jeep to the other Jeep using the regular old school shackles. The other thing I keep in my kit is a spare shackle. Not all vehicles have shackles on them. I would recommend carrying enough for your own vehicle and maybe one extra, so that when you have to hook up to someone else's Jeep, you have one in case they don't. Sometimes you lose them. I've lost mine on the road before. The next couple of products I have here include 2 soft shackles. One is made by ARB, that's this one here, and then this one is made by Factor 55. This one came with this pulley here. This pulley replaces the traditional snatch block. However, this is used for synthetic rope only. You can't use it with the steel cable. So depending on your winch setup on the front of your Jeep, you're going to need to look at what product fits that best. But this came together as a product. These 2 here, we used it a couple of times. It was great with recovery. So you slip the soft shackle through the pulley. You set up the knot as you normally would with a soft shackle so that the pull is on the side. And then you'll use this in a pulley system here. The great thing is that you've got the rope guards to catch to keep the synthetic rope. Just turn it around. So this has the neat addition that Factor 55 added to their pulley, were these little rubber pieces here. This helps keep your synthetic line inside the pulley to keep it from falling out if you happen to get some slack in your line. One thing to remember when you're winching is to never let the Jeep bounce. I've seen it happen. You'll break the winch if the Jeep starts to hop and bounce as you're trying to get up over something. You just want to keep a nice steady pull on it. So that's the pulley and that soft shackle. Over here, 2 other lines here, 2 other straps. So this one's a tree saver. This is a 3-inch by 16-foot ARB tree saver. So you use this around the base of a tree, and it's nice and wide to help dissipate some of that stress on the tree, and this will give you a good point to tie off to. You can use it with your winch, you can use it with the pulley. If you're going to connect these things, you don't want to use these hard shackles. You want to use these soft shackles. That way if something breaks, you don't have this big metal piece flying at you. You've got something a little softer coming at you. Lastly, and as you can see, I haven't ever used this so far, this is a strap for winch extension. So you can use this in conjunction with the winch. Maybe your winch line doesn't go far enough. You should do some research on your winch. They have different power based on how many wraps they have around the drum. And so this will help ensure that you get the maximum pulling power out of your winch and still get the distance you need. Hopefully we're going to keep this all strapped up here, not use it, but we've got it just in case. And for me, that's pretty much the basis of my kit. We went over the parts of the Jeep with the winch up front and the difference between the hooks and everything, but this makes up the meat of what I have. And like I said, I have 2 of these just in case, but if you guys have any questions, you know, hit us up.
Thank you, Mike. And I would like to put in, you know, a lot of people don't put much emphasis on those tree savers, but I just want to say that, you know, by doing stuff like that and making sure that we taking care of the trails and taking care of the environment around us, we actually ensure that we have these spaces to go wheeling, and we preserve it for the next generation. We always want to practice leave no trace and take out what you bring in, and try to pick a little something up here and there extra if you find it, because all it does is help us. There are a lot of groups out there that would like to see us not have the opportunity to go out there because they won't, they have different interests in the land. And as long as we're taking care of the land, they really don't have any fuel. And we want to make sure that we also keep that land in good condition so that we can have it for our next generation and the generations that follow. So we always want to make sure to practice good, responsible wheeling. And that's all I got. I appreciate everybody, and y'all have a great day. Hey guys, I'm back again. I just wanted to put a plug out for some of the products that we just looked at. The ARB toe straps, those are good quality toe straps. I really like those. Factor 55 makes everything in the U.S. and we always want to support, I always try to support American-made companies when I can. I understand that a lot of times it's a lot more expensive with Factor 55, for example. That soft shackle and pulley setup, I think, is somewhere in the $150 range. Is that right, Mike? Mm-hmm. So it's going to cost you somewhere around $150, where you can get Overland vehicle systems, which I'm pretty sure they're a Chinese brand, but they've got some pretty good stuff for what you pay for it. You can get the soft shackle and the pulley itself for $75, I do believe. And I actually plan on getting both of those and doing a comparison, a side-by-side comparison. When you look at that Factor 55 though, the fact that it has those little rubber nipples right there, you can actually support the weight of the pulley on those little nipples right there. So if your winch gets loose, then whenever it drops, it can help it keep it from actually coming loose and possibly falling and getting stuck up under something and getting damaged. So that's actually something that's unique to them. So I really like that about that product. But like I said, I plan to get both, and whenever I do, we'll do a side-by-side comparison on what we think and about each one and whether they're worth it, and whether we think they're worth it, and you can make the decision of whether you think it's worth it. But like I said, there again, they make everything in the U.S. and it supports the American economy and the American workers. So we really like to see people who support those companies, and whenever you get a chance, it'd be nice to see you do it as well. All right, this is Kevin with Grayline Overland. Have a good day.